Here this morning. We are going to have a message come through at this moment in time. And as I have been playing this month with the book of Deepak Chopra's Power, Freedom, and Grace, I had read this book before, and as I did, it's a pretty easy read. And I'm thumbing through it, and I'm telling myself, oh, I know that, I know that, I know that. This isn't anything new. Oh, I know that. But something told me for July to pick it up again, and maybe it was the word freedom that struck me for July. And so I'm picking it up again, and I'm looking at it, and I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, is this what I read before? These words weren't in here before, were they? You ever have that experience, like, this is the book I read before? Like, see all my little dog-eared pages now? I'm like, really? And that is an example, I believe, of what happens when we read truth. We look at it at one moment in time when we have this consciousness. Well, I know that, and I know that, of course. And yet, when we pick it up again, we have deepened and are open more to the deeper truth that is there. That's not just on the surface, but that is a deeper message in it. And so our topic this morning is called Be a Witness, but it could also say be the witness or an observer. And as I shared with you last week, the premise that Deepak has throughout this book, the guiding theme that is there, is indicating that we are living in this unified field of potentiality, that this energy is all there is, and that it is expressing itself all the time, everywhere. There is no place where it is not. And it exists in the eternal now. And as I read that, I thought, well, I know that. But as I was reading the examples that he gives, the deeper I get it in my being. And I wanted to share with you what he talked about as an instance of his idea of the observer and the witness. I'm going to read it slowly because it takes a while to take it in. Infinite consciousness, observing itself, creates the notion of observer, or the soul. The process of observation, or the mind. And that which is observed, or the body and the world. The observer and the observed create relationships between themselves. This is space. The movement of these relationships create events. This is time. But all of these are none other than the infinite consciousness itself. That we are infinite consciousness with a localized point of view. And to me, that is so much more expansive than just saying that, okay, yeah, I'm a point in this process of life, that I'm an expression of this one infinite thing. I am in and of it. I am the observer. I am the observed. Eckhart Tolle, I think, tried to also espouse this idea when he said that when he was so depressed, he had this thought that I just can't stand myself anymore. And then he got to thinking, wait a minute, if I can't stand myself, that's two of me? And there is this I am of each of us that is living us. And when we get so caught up in this humanness of seeing the events, of experiencing the time that is happening, we forget that we are the observer. Deepak had another example of the way he put it. He says, think of it this way. The nervous system of our bodies might be thought of as our hardware. And the chemical changes that occur are the software. The software or program changes according to our thoughts and our feelings and our interpretations. But there is a programmer. The programmer is the inner self, the silent witness, the ever-present awareness that witnesses everything. When you get in touch with the silent witness, this gives you the ability to rewrite the program. So did you follow that line of thought? Our hardware, our body, our physical nervous system is influenced by our thoughts and our feelings. That's the software. But yet we have the ability to reprogram it. And not necessarily, I have to say, by what, if you just are a science of mind student, change your thinking, change your life. It's deeper than that. Because you have to be open and receptive and available for the programmer, for the silent witness in the gap that is you to come forth. Our minds are chatterboxes. You know? How many of you try to meditate and you put the timer on and you say, okay, how many of you doing the 21-day deal with Deepak and Oprah? I love it because it really gives you a system to me. I mean, it really helps me because it gives me a guideline. I love what they say before the meditation, and then they give you a time meditation. But a lot of times the little ding goes off, the meditation's done. I'm thinking, I'm just now getting settled in. And I love the way that he does end it because he ends it very gently. So you still can remain in that silence if you so choose. And in any event, so our teaching, it's interesting because we teach change your thinking, change your life. But what we're talking about today goes deeper than that. That our mind is so much run by this ego. And for us to literally step back and recognize that there's so much more, this infinite possibility that we have. You know, and I'll have to say too that our teaching a lot of times emphasizes being positive, right? That's like, look at the positive, that's what's happening. And yet, in the experience of life, there are thorns on a rose bush. Or there are roses on a thorn bush. And that life has those times when it ebbs and flows, when it goes up and down, when it changes. That's what life is about. And so I wanted to share with you the wisdom of Lao Tzu in his 22nd poem from the Tao Te Ching. And it says, yield and remain whole. Bend and remain straight. Be empty and remain full. Be worn and remain anew. Own little and be replete. Own much and be restless. Therefore the sage embraces the one and sets an example for the whole world. He does not display himself, and he shines. He does not defend himself, and so he is distinguished. He does not swagger, and so he never stumbles. He does not exalt, and so he excels. He does not contend, and so the world cannot contend with him. The ancient sage, yield and remain whole, is not empty assertion. Be truly whole, and all things will come to you. So we're remembering, learning, knowing that this ebb and flow of life moves. And that there is this silent power, this observer that we are, that is changeless, that doesn't move with the currents of life. And that that's what we are. This silent observer is non-judgmental. It's non-analytical. It's non-interpretive. It is a witness. It is observing that one power that is expressing itself as all. And so when we get into that mode of being the observer, of being the witness, of being the programmer, of allowing it to be us, what do we feel? Do we feel peace? Do we feel ease? Do we feel grace? There is no turbulence. There is no upset about it. Because we know in the everlasting scope of things, we are in eternity. There's no doubt about it. There's also another example that we have used in our teaching more than once. I have used it many times. And it's called the idea that there's this ocean, right? And there's a drop of water in the ocean, and there are waves on the ocean. And we talk about that we as individuals are a wave. We each are waves, our unique waves come and go, right? Deepak said, why would you want to identify with a wave on the ocean or a mere drop of water when you are the ocean? You are not the ever-changing behavior of the ocean. You are the water I-ness of the ocean. And this water I-ness doesn't change. It's a big concept, really. I mean, it's something that we've said time and time again, but to really get your mind and arms wrapped around it there's an openness about it. There's a willingness to say, gosh, I guess I don't know it all. I am willing to be available for this spirit to live me, to be me. There's this infinite consciousness. Infinite means no end. Deepak said, when we wake up to the divine consciousness, we don't see a leaf or a table or a cloud or a rainbow. We see the whole universe being all these things. No separate, no individuality. It is all. We identify these things, but it is all the same energy. We feel the presence of spirit naturally unfolding in whatever we observe. When we enter this reality, we feel safe, even in the midst of danger. The inner voice speaks, and it guides us to make spontaneous and correct choices. There is within us this power, this energy, this essence that is guiding us. If we will be available to hear it, to let it come through us, whether we are pricking our finger with a thorn or not, that it is always there. Our Monday night class is going through the keys to the kingdom that we talked about last month. And we are on this voyage, on this journey, in this class of coming up with our vision, with what is our desires, what is our passion, how do we see ourselves being and expressing in this life. And so we have all these going into meditation. What is my passion? What's my desire? What is my vision for my life? How do I want to show up? What do I want to be? And we've had some interesting conversations because many of us are still plugged into the smallness of, okay, well, if I can just get a better car, I'll be happy because that's where I'm at right now. And we accept that and we are aware of that. But what we're stepping into is this broader definition of where can this infinite spirit that I am serve? I mean, honestly, to me, that's what it's about, is letting this infinite be able to play. So when we are aware of the I am, yes, we watch our words. We are cognizant that when we say I am, that it's the truth. And they're not plugging in something that is belittling this infinite being. Our desires will bubble up within us. There's things that just pop right out of our mouths that we didn't even intend to say, and they come from the heart. And that's what we are to listen to. And that's what we are to follow through and trust in. Because those desires are coming from the Father within, the I am. And when you have those, then you have all the gumption, all of the ability, all of the arsenal, I don't know what you want to call it, all of the strength, guidance to bring it to fruition in the eternal now. We recognize that we are all connected in this soul level. Nothing is separate. It's all one. And so one of the major things that I have gleaned from this reading, once again, is the fact that everything is in relation. That we are in relation on this earth plane. We are in relation to everything. And when we see the leaf, and when we see the flower, and when we see the person, and we see the chair, none of it is separate from us. It is only separate from us if we make it so. And to open ourselves up to see what it is that God is bringing to us in this life right now at this moment. I check Facebook every once in a while. Does anybody else do that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the one laughing in the front row. She puts a lot of posts up. Anyway, there was a real short one, a short one that I saw this week. It was from Reverend Dr. Jeanette Freeman. And she put up a little post, and all it said was, every 5 minutes, think of something to be grateful for. Now, every 5 minutes, think of something to be grateful for. And I thought, wow, that's really frequent. Am I going to remember every 5 minutes? But then I thought, well, what if I remember every 10 minutes, what if I can remember once every half hour? At least that's better than nothing. And it's a practice that you can establish to try to get to every 5 minutes. What is it that I love right now? What is it that's supporting me? What is it right now that I am giving my fullness to, my energy to, my love to? Boy, if we can live in that space of unconditional giving love and receiving love all the time. We were talking in our class about giving and receiving, and it's really the same thing. As we give, we receive. It's a flow, it's an ebb, it's a tide. And we know that when we are this infinite being, there's nothing that will limit us. Nothing. And so we are givers to the universe. We are givers of our energy. And that energy comes back to us in all sorts of different ways. We play with it on this divine level. And so I'd like us to think about the fact that at this moment in time, I am the I am. Take a deep breath. I am the I am. I want you to turn to your neighbor, look him in the eye, and tell him that. I am the I am. I am the I am. There is only one, I am. And that means all of us are the I am. In expression, in love, in joy. I had the opportunity last Saturday to party for my 15th anniversary as a minister here at Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. And it was lovely. It was a great party. I so appreciated it, and all the people that were there, and all the fun things that were said. And I got a nice plaque. Did I bring it? I brought it in last week, didn't I? Should I do the plaque last week? Well, and I got all sorts of nice cards. Well, during the week, this week, then, I received a card in the mail from someone that wasn't able to attend, and I wanted to share it with you because it was a quote from Deepak Chopra. And it said, "No matter where you go, the same infinity exists in all directions. You are thus the center of the universe wherever you are." You get that concept? You are the center. Doesn't matter. Behind, up and down, wherever you go, you are the center because it's infinite. It's where you are. So in all the universe, there is only one you. In the one and only you, there is all the universe. We're pretty big, aren't we? There's nothing small about that at all. We are just huge. So I wanted to share with you a poem from Tagore that I hope gives you this essence of this vastness and this programmer that we have available to us. He says, "The ocean of peace lies ahead of me. Sail the boat, O pilot. You are my constant companion now. Take me in your lap. Along our journey to the infinite, the pole star alone will shine. Giver of freedom, set me free. May your forgiveness and compassion be my eternal resources for the journey. May the mortal ties fall away. May the vast universe hold me in embrace. And with an undaunted heart, may I come to know the great unknown." This week, let's open our awareness to this vastness that we are. Let's remember every 5 minutes to say, "Thank you. I am so grateful for this life that I am of, that I can give, unbounded, unrestricted, unlimiting to. And it will look at me and smile and give right back with abundance, with multitude, flowing over." This is going to be a great week. You are going to open your sails for however the wind is going to strike you. You might need to tack. You might need to make an adjustment, but you are up for it because you have this infinite being living you as you. And so it is. Namaste. So it is.